We welcome you to Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, home of the Youngstown State Penguins, but tonight, home to a crosstown rivalry. It's Boardman versus Mooney right here on YSN. I'm Matt Romeo alongside with my partner, Coach Vince Tatey. Coach, this is a rivalry that goes back a long time.
Yeah, back as far back as Cardinal Mooney's been playing football. And I'll tell you, as an alumni of Cardinal Mooney, somebody who's played football there and coached there, you've always wanted to beat Ursuline, don't get me wrong, but there was an extra level of intensity to that Boardman game. Most people lived with each other in the same neighborhoods, and they went to work with each other, and it was just brought a different element to that rivalry, and there was a strong dislike for each other, if to put it kindly, as much as you can in high school sports. So these two teams are going to definitely get after each other tonight.
The environment down on the field, it's going to be an exciting one tonight. Come on in, stay a while. We're going to keep it right here for kickoff here as the officials break their huddle, and we got the kicker teeing it up here for Boardman, who is Oswaldo Salinas, getting ready to kick this thing away. Actually, check that. That is, Oswaldo Salinas, I believe. And it is going to be kicked off as Boardman won the toss, deferred. Mooney receives first. It's brought up by number 7 to about the 40-yard line, and that's where Mooney will start their opening drive. Logan Guerreri, it looks like, on the return there for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Logan played against the Spartans last year, suffered an injury in the very first series, and so I'm sure he really wants to get after these guys this year too. He's a very intense football player.
Mooney 3-2, coming off a huge win last week, and they were challenged last week for sure, especially early on in the game.
Today they get a lot of people back. As you might see, number 70, Darren Simpson, starting tackle for Cardinal Mooney. That does a lot for them. He'll be able to spell a couple of the guys, namely Kewan Dean, make him concentrate on defense, which is his specialty a little bit more. So a big addition for the Cardinals today is Big Red.
1st and 10, and the give to Ike Lake on cue as we're about to talk about him coming back from injury, speaking of, and he gets 4 yards on first down.
Straight to that power eye, wasting no time going to that. They like to mix that in to when they need to settle things a little bit or things are getting a little out of hand, but they went to it right off the rip with a little ISO, and Ike got a nice gain on it.
Ike Lake coming back from an ankle injury tonight. He's going to test it out here in the early going. 2nd and 6 upcoming, but we watched him last week in warm-ups against Chardon. Didn't quite feel good enough to go as the carry is give. It's a jet sweep, number 1, and the Spartans are right on him. They bring him down to the 48-yard line. He'll be right about at the first down. They're going to move the chains.
That's Dom Letlow getting a carry probably for the first time this year, as much as I can recall. He is a Boardman native, and he came to Cardinal Mooney, and so no doubt he knows a lot of those players. But so it's a good idea to get the ball in his hands because he can make things happen with it.
So 1st and 10 for Mooney. Ike Lake checking back into the game. Tested out that ankle once again today. Felt great. A lot better at least than last week, from what we saw at least.
Yeah, during warm-ups, he was taking the ball, and even just in their team workout, he was taking the ball all the way to the end zone and making some fast cuts. So he looks comfortable and confident on that ankle. 1st
and 10 at their own 48. Gentile in the shotgun formation, Lake to his left. Give up the middle. He's going to cut it up, and that ankle looks good, and he is grabbed by the jersey. Otherwise, he might have taken that for a long gain there, brought down into Boardman territory at the 43.
Yeah, we see a lot of teams going to that. It's just an inside zone from the shotgun, but that backside A-gap is almost always open in that for some reason. He knew it, felt it, made that cut, and got a solid 9 yards out of it.
Brings up a 2nd and 1 here, and getting over to Boardman's side of the field here. Do you take a shot here early, free down, 2nd and 1?
I don't think so. I think they're on a mission here to kind of muscle up and to be more aggressive with the run game.
Possibly set the tone in this football game and fakes it. Vinny Gentile's looking deep. He is going to take a shot downfield. It's picked off. Good coverage by Boardman, and he falls to the ground, so I don't believe the return is going to happen there. But they will mark it officially at the 7-yard line, a big turnover for Boardman early, and they'll take over.
Yeah, feel comfortable putting the ball in the air with a quarterback like Vince Gentile, who took a big step last week, throwing 4 touchdowns in a game without Ike Lake, so they really leaned on him in order to do more, and he answered the call. That time, that safety didn't bite on anything, and he just kind of came over, played center field, and ended that play for Gentile and the Cardinals.
So just underway here, 9:49 remaining in the first quarter. We'll turn it over to Boardman. They'll take their offensive possession, their first offensive possession of the game, and they'll start it at their own 7-yard line, but after a huge turnover, a huge interception there.
Yeah, that is the definition of a momentum swing. When Cardinal Mooney was running the ball so well, and you can't fault them for taking a shot. They have athletes on the edges, and it worked very well for them last week. But the Spartans really did their job at film study.
Nearly every shot they took last week they connected on, but Boardman capitalizes. Great coverage by the defensive backs there. First down, give to number 7. He's going to be bottled up before getting outside. No gainer here. It'll be 2nd and 10.
As they did last year, DJ Doda, head coach of the Boardman Spartans, is going to really throw all that wing tee at him, and you see that right there. A little trap play right off the rip. And we're going to see buck sweep, counter, a lot of those things. Boardman does a lot of stuff with their offensive line. They're really successful with that last year. Cardinal Mooney's defensive line was coming upfield a lot, and they were really taking advantage of it. We'll see if they adjust to that this year.
That was Ryan Mitchell on the carry for Boardman here. 2nd down and 10 coming up. And he's going to roll out to the near side. He's going to look back to possibly throw a screen, but he's brought down at the 1-yard line, just avoiding the goal line there. So they're going to be in dangerous territory on their own inside the 1. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, that time pressure was brought in there. Brady Desmond, whose name we called many times over the course of this season, came and got home fast with that. It was just a play action off of the normal wing tee kind of trap look. I saw a couple guards pulling in there and other movements on the offensive line. Brady Desmond was having none of it.
So Boardman in dangerous territory here on 3rd down. You almost think, do you QB sneak it here just to avoid any kind of penetration in the backfield?
At this point in the game, I would agree with that because you just kind of don't want to do anything that would cause any sort of chaotic moments.
So motion number 11, he's going to try to get out of the end zone, and he does by that extra effort spin. It's going to be 4th down, but it could have been much worse for Boardman.
And there you go, right on cue. A play that requires you to go backwards in order to go forward is not something you really want to do in that moment of the game. But Cardinal Mooney almost had it for a loss and a safety, but no harm done on the interception. Vince Gentile is not going to be fazed by that. He is a guy, a baseball player, that kind of athlete who it's next play up for him.
And that's Ryan Smith on the carry there. We're going to have fun calling that because I guess it's number 7 and 11. Ryan Smith and Ryan Mitchell, the two main backs they like to give it to for Boardman. 21 on the return. He catches at the 40. He's across the 35. He's going to shift back inside across the 30, and he's going to be finally brought down by the Spartans at the 25-yard line. Mooney going to start an excellent territory just outside the red zone.
That's Jay Manningham. I talk about him every week. He's kind of a secret weapon for Cardinal Mooney. He does a lot of things. He can put him in there, corner, safety. He returns punts, as you've seen, returns kicks, and he also lines up at receiver. A really good football player and somebody to dial up when needed. Very, very helpful.
Gabe Hammerton, doing the punting for Boardman there. So shout out to, I believe that would be his dad, Mr. Hammerton, the athletic director at Boardman. Can't confirm that, but Mr. Hammerton was a great coach back in the day and doing an even better job at athletic director.
Yeah, good Boardman family, obviously, and have really carved their legacy with that school.
1st and 10 for Mooney. Gentile in the shotgun formation. Lake to his left. He's got a man in motion, and he's going to look. He's going to throw the screenplay to Lake. Lake's got room to run. He's across the 20. He's going to cut it outside of the 15, and he's finally brought down at the 10-yard line. Nice gainer there for Ike Lake.
Just a bubble. They motion to the right. Got Boardman's defense looking in that way and kind of coming in with it. They were obviously in some sort of man coverage because no one can get to Ike as fast as he got out on that bubble screen. It was just green area for him.
So it looks like we'll see if they call this 1st and goal or first aid. I'm thinking it's 1st and goal. It's right on the 10-yard line here. So 1st and goal for Mooney. Here, 7 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Still early here. Now Mooney comes out in that stack eye formation, which we see quite a bit there. Gentile is going to toss it to the left side. That's going to be Dawson. Dawson's going to break a tackle, and, man, he was slippery there. He gets to about the 5-yard line. Nice little gain from Mooney. That could have been a loss.
Yeah, I think when defenses see that stacked eye coming at them, they think it's going to be double teams across the line or some sort of downhill scheme. But that time, everybody was just reach blocking over to the left, and you had 2 of their best fullbacks, Brady Desmond, Rocco Zabel, out there just trying to get numbers, and Tyree Dawson is a slick player.
Tyree Dawson remains in the backfield there. And so 2nd down goal from the 5 for Mooney. Stack eye formation. Gentile's going to give to Dawson up the middle. And Dawson is going to slip another one. He's going to break to the near side, and he gets in for a touchdown. What a spin. What a move. Tyree Dawson gives Mooney the early lead.
Yeah, we saw that play earlier, but to the other way. So what it was just almost like an inside zone kind of action play. Cuts back, finds room on that cutback lane every single time. And he has really shown the ability to break that first tackle. And when you can do that as a high school player and then play with that kind of force that he does, you're going to find success. And that was a great turn of events for Cardinal Mooney, avoiding a momentum change after the interception.
So Mooney with the early lead here, 6-0 pending the extra point here by Gugliotta. 6:42 remaining in the first quarter. Got a low snap, but the holder recovered there, and it goes up and through. Nice recovery there. I want to give the holder there a shout-out there. I think that was Mike Schiraldi. And Mooney takes a 7-0 lead here from Stambaugh Stadium over Boardman. Still 6:42 remaining in the first quarter. Stick with us. We'll be right back here on YSN. Back here in Youngstown, Ohio from Stambaugh Stadium, home of the Penguins. As Mooney gets ready to kick it off to the Boardman Spartans, up 7-0. 6:42 remaining here in the first quarter. Now, once again, Boardman won the toss, deferred. But that was Mooney's second possession of the game as they responded with defense after Vinny Gentile throwing that early pick. This one's returned past the 20, past the 30. He's got some room to run. He's at the 35 and finally taken down at the 40-yard line. That's number 3 on the tackle. It's Jacob Gugliotta, the kicker.
Well, he had a big hit earlier this season, if you remember, Matt. It came up and I think lived some dreams right there as a soccer player. Wanted to take out some aggression and once again showing the ability to bring the wood right there.
And Coach, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's a soccer player right there, and that's not a slide tackle. He just laid the wood on the returner there.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here. Boardman coming up 1st and 10.
It's imperative for Boardman to get something going here. With that wing T offense, you definitely don't want to fall back by 2 scores or so.
Boardman at their own 41-yard line with a man in motion. He's going to fake the toss and going to try to draw it up the middle. Looked like a design QB draw there, and he gets about 5 out of it.
That was a nifty play for sure. I mean, you get everybody flowing and scraping over to the toss, kind of busted up in the middle. Canfield found success against Cardinal Mooney with similar action there. So other teams are going to keep trying that until Mooney successfully shuts it down.
So 2nd and 5 upcoming for Boardman. And, Coach, is it me or do the chains tonight just seems like there's camouflage on them? Couldn't tell if they were on the far side or the near side.
Oh, good point.
And we got a jet sweep. Looks like a jet sweep reverse, and that was number 11 on the carry, and he will get a couple on that, still be short of the first down at their own 48-yard line. Looks like about 3 to go here on 3rd down.
So if you noticed, Cardinal Mooney's front 7 or even front 4, 3, whatever their line in right there is coming off the ball with discipline, maintaining leverage on their keys. And that's very, very important because there's so many pulling guards and different things happening, creates extra gaps to defend. If they get upfield or pick sides, they're really going to open up lanes for these runners.
So that was Ryan Smith on the carry there. And this one's going to be tossed out to Ryan Williams, and he is brought out – Ryan Mitchell there, and he is brought out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 2 Ryans, I'm going to get their last names right here before the end of the game. They're going to have 1st and 10 at the 45.
Good hard run, whoever it was right there, over to the left on that zone play, kind of found a lane in Mooney's run fit and converted the first down. It was very, very important for Boardman to at least get some sticks going, right, to get the first downs, get some momentum offensively.
So Boardman now in Mooney territory at the 45, driving here. First long drive of the game for them so far. Jet sweep, reverse there. And what a spin move by the back. He's got open field. Mooney in pursuit. Here we go. He's at the 10, the 5, and he's brought down at the 5-yard line. And a touchdown-saving tackle by Kingston Powell. And on the carry, that was Ryan Smith.
It looked like almost like a reverse if I didn't see a ball change hands there, and coming across in the motion or even that buck sweep action causes a lot of different misdirection and looks coming out of that backfield. It's really hard to keep up with. If the linebackers don't track guards and the offensive linemen don't get hands on the guards, it could be a really long night for the defensive line.
So 1st and goal for the Spartans here at the 6-yard line of Mooney, deep into the red zone here. Vince Budo, he's going to give it up the middle, and actually he's going to keep it. And he is hit hard after gaining a couple yards. That was a tough run by the quarterback, Budo, as he was hit multiple times, still gets a gain out of it.
Yeah, very tough run. That's a tough play. I mean, you're asking your quarterback to pull the ball out of the dive and actually get that defensive end coming in. And Don Letlow was on that side. He's a very aggressive player, likes to come upfield, has the athleticism to do that because he can backtrack, retrace his steps, and still make a play. But they were clearly taking advantage of his aggression right there.
So 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter here. Boardman threatening here from the Mooney 3-yard line. Budo under center. He's going to give it to Smith. Smith's going to cut it up the middle, and he gets maybe a yard on that. We'll have third down coming up from the 2.
Good play by Mooney's linebackers. Again, tracking guards, making sure whatever insert happens across the line, you can account for it. And that's going to be a big key for Mooney, something really didn't accomplish last year as Boardman earned a victory over Cardinal Mooney at Boardman. But this year it looks like Mooney is playing a little bit more disciplined on defense and getting to and tracking the guards a little better and making sure those gaps are accounted for.
So Vince Budo leads the huddle break as get ready for a huge third down here for Boardman. I would think 4-down territory here. Budo's under center. He's going to have a man in motion at Smith. He's going to give it to his fullback. He's actually going to keep it once again, and Mooney sniffs it out, and they stuff him maybe for a loss of 1.
Yeah, that time it was number 10, Brian Lyons, finishing off the play that the defensive line is just kind of getting off the ball a little faster than Boardman's offensive line at the moment, getting that separation, establishing contact and momentum before they can. And that's really the key to any battle, no matter what offenses and defenses are lining against each other. So decision time for the Spartans.
And they are going to, in fact, show that they're going to go for it at least. And it looks like they were pretty emphatic about actually running a play here. So they'll officially call it last one a loss of 2. It's 4th down and goal here from the 4-yard line. Big play in this one early on. 2:25 remaining here in the first. Wing T formation. Budo under center. Got Smith to his left. And he's got Mitchell, and it looks like we're going to get a false start against Boardman.
That should bring on, and it looks like it is bringing on the kicking team.
So I'm not sure if it was something with the motion. It looked like there was a little bit of back and forth there between Budo and Mitchell, the running back that was in motion. So I don't know if maybe we had too many guys in motion at the time, but nonetheless, it's going to bring on the kicker for Boardman here. That's going to be number 28, Oswaldo Salinas. Good snap, and it's blocked. Mooney is going to try to return it. It was blocked, tipped up in the air. It's number 10. That's your boy, Coach. And he is brought down at the 24. Number 10.
That's Brian Lyons coming up again. That was an interesting look by Cardinal Mooney. Everybody was in 2-point stances across the line of scrimmage, probably not showing where the pressures come from. They have the pressure selected, comes with it. The snap wasn't all that good. Caused the kick to get blocked straight up in the air into Brian Lyons' hands. And when the ball comes down to a guy who's played linebacker and guard for 4 years, he is going to run with it, and nobody can say anything about it.
So that Mooney defense, that Mooney special teams, I guess, kind of evens the turnover ratio here. They make a huge block there on 4th down, and they're actually going to negate the return by Brian Lyons there. And I'm not sure why there couldn't be a return on that one, but I mentioned that's your boy, Coach. Every time we're here doing a Mooney game, he makes sure he comes up to Coach Tatey over here, and he's a maniac when he comes over, too. I love to see the intensity out of him.
He is Mr. Intensity, no doubt about it. He fears nothing, and, that's, again, I say it every week, that's something you can't coach. And it's good to have a guy like that in the foxhole with you. So
2:05 remaining here in the first quarter. A little bit of a conversation going on with where the ball's going to be spotted. And we'll get a first down coming up for Mooney here at the 20-yard line. They'll mark it on the far hash. And so, Mooney kind of it's the second time now that they've kind of taken that adversity and kind of shoved it to the side there. Now they get the ball on offense again. 1st and 10. It's going to be Lake. He's giving up the middle. He's going to keep it up the middle and brought down for a nice gain of about 5.
No cutback needed that time. There was a hole straight off the snap. Same play, little zone play from the shotgun. And it seems to be a good play for Ike Lake, and it suits his talents very well. Not the biggest running back ever, but a lot of the greatest running backs that ever played weren't that big either. As long as he can shift, find plays, and establish that sort of feel it takes to be a running back at that point.
So 2nd and 5 upcoming. As Mooney gets their personnel ready here. We got 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Lake in the background. Vinny, shotgun formation. He throws it. Got a man. It's a first down. 5-yard gain, and he breaks a tackle to get some more. So it's enough for a first down and brings it to about the 34-yard line. Mooney's still in their own territory.
Matt, we've seen it all year. If these corners are going to give cushion, any team is going to run hitches and take what you give them and maybe make a defensive tackle, or like we used to say, or used to probably say in college, earn your scholarship, make a tackle out there, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Mooney's had it done to them all year with the way they align their corners, and Boardman, as you can see right now, aligning their corners pretty far off the ball. And
when you got a quarterback like Gentile who can throw the ball hard and throw the ball accurate, why not take that easy 5 yards there?
Every time.
Mooney lines up here for 1st and 10. Here coming up from their own 33. They're going to give it to, it's going to be number 3 this time. He breaks to the outside. Gain of about 3 or 4 on this one. That's going to be Tony Beatty on the carry. Tony Beatty, excuse me.
And if you look there, Boardman's defensive line gets great get-offs, coming off the ball very hard, but they don't play with the same leverage that the Mooney defensive line does. And that's not a knock on Boardman. That's just that's the way they go about their business on the defensive line. But it did create a couple of running lanes for Tony Beatty to exploit.
So clock ticking down, under 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Should probably be, barring an incomplete pass, the last play of the first quarter. Man in motion. Gentile on the gun. He's going to hand it. He's going to keep it on the ground. It's Lake. He cuts it back. He's got some room to run. He's at the 45. He breaks another tackle. Boardman in pursuit. Lake, he's to the house. He cuts it back in. Touchdown, Mooney. 13-0.
Just one of those plays that makes it very easy for an offensive coordinator. In this case, I didn't see the signal, but it is coming back. But regardless, an unbelievable highlight reel type run, because that play was hemmed in, but it was only because of the talent and experience and explosiveness of a player like Ike Lake. But nonetheless, coming back, it looked like some sort of personal foul. That was a 61-yard touchdown that gets wiped off the board.
We'll see. Delay a game that they called?
I saw a personal foul signal, I thought, but then you're right. I didn't really catch that. Yeah, I didn't catch what that was. Looks like Coach Colaprete's asking for an explanation as well.
So a 62-yard, and we kind of scoffed there, because you hate to see any kind of, whatever team it is, any kind of big play negated by a flag is one of my biggest pet peeves. But it does happen, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. So we are still Mooney 7, Boardman nothing here from Stanbaugh Stadium. Second quarter coming up on YSN. We'll be back. Back here at Stanbaugh Stadium, getting ready to start the second quarter between Boardman and Mooney. 7-0 Mooney lead here. They've got the ball here at the 28-yard line. They'll mark it. And what happened there at the end of the quarter, we're still trying to confirm what penalty it was. Ike Lake broke a 62-yard run for a touchdown, and it ended up getting negated by a penalty here. So we're actually going to get – it's going to be first down, they're going to say, and the runner's brought down the backfield. First down and 10. I don't know what the penalty yardage on it was. So with all that going on.
I'm not sure where the spot was, how that goes. Regardless, Dom Letlow got a carry there, and not sure if he gained any yards on that, but seems like some discussions going on about what the clock situation is.
Does it have to do with the drone on the field?
Could have. That might even be a.
Oh, they didn't flip the field to start the first quarter.
Well, we have seen some curious happenings this year, Matt, you and I together in these games, but that might be the single strangest. I mean, how would you like to be the referee having to explain that? But then again, nobody said anything, so I'm not sure.
This is bizarre. We're going to paint you a picture here. We got 12 minutes on the clock. We've already run one play into the second quarter. During this play, we're seeing a drone come up from the sidelines and kind of hovering over the field. We're kind of starting to wonder, like, if there's a delay because of the drone. We've seen that in pro sports. And now we find out they forgot to flip the field at the end of the quarter.
And and then you and I didn't say anything either. So
that's right.
So nobody in the stadium did. It looked like. So regardless, the referees are on top of it, and the field is flipped. The play seems to have counted. Don Letlow gets credited with a yard gain there, and we are on to quarter number 2.
They take 1 second off the clock.
Yep.
For a 2-yard gain, and here we go. 2nd down and 8. It's given to Dawson. Dawson's brought down in the backfield. A great stop there by the Boardman defense. Trying to see the number there. It looks like 55 on that one for Boardman, who is James Mitchell.
Yeah, Boardman's going to need to do a lot more of that tonight in order to be successful, consistently stopping Cardinal Mooney's playmakers. That was a fantastic play from Boardman's front 3. Great get-offs, causing havoc in the backfield, stopping things before they develop.
So it brings up a 3rd and 10 here. So this would be a huge stand for the Boardman defense after a couple of negative things that have happened for them so far here. Gentile, he's going to back to pass. He's going to throw it, and he's looking for his man, Johnny Brenner. Incomplete. Will bring up 4th down, a punting situation for Mooney.
We've seen that play over and over again this year, especially on 3rd down. Cardinal Mooney has dialed that up. Brenner runs a little bench route over to the sideline. Gentile has really been on key with that this year. The ball's been in the air before he comes up with it. But Boardman was a nice 2-high safety look. Everybody kind of kept everything in front of him. Corner just kind of sank back and stayed in that zone, and everybody kind of made their plays. Excellent series by the Spartans.
Brady Desmond on the punt the ball for the Mooney Cardinals here. It's a beautiful punt, and number 2, the returner, he's just kind of let that one go and wisely gets away from that ball. That was number 2, Ray Vodhanel, I think. I don't know, Coach. Help me out there.
I think you got it right.
So we got 11:07 on the clock, and Boardman getting set to take over here after the Mooney punt. Huge stop by Boardman defense. Mooney, they haven't really stopped Mooney yet tonight. And once again, a couple of negative momentum plays have happened against Boardman so far. We'll see if they can get something going here.
Yeah, they need to take advantage of getting a 61-yard touchdown called back and make Cardinal Mooney pay for that mistake. And that's what happens in this rivalry. I feel like we're settling in for that boxing match that we always get between these two teams, no matter where their records are, what the trajectory is of the programs. We always get these kind of fights every time.
Absolutely, and they kind of came out starting to throw haymakers a bit, and just a couple of misses on Boardman's end, but they're only down 7-0. They know they can drive the ball on Mooney, so should be pretty interesting here. So 1st and 10 for Boardman here on the 25-yard line.
Mooney shaking up looks there. Don Letlow dropping down to like a 3-technique tackle. He brought in J.T. Smith right there, who's starting offensive lineman. Keywan Dean moves out to defensive end. He's an excellent athlete, can handle it, but he sees a lot of time on the interior side of the line. And you got Mike McGlone on the other defensive line. So it's interesting technique and tactics for Cardinal Mooney.
So Vinny Budo started in the gun. He runs up and takes it under center, and Mooney's right there to stop it. No gainer there. Going to be 2nd and a long 9 coming up for Mooney.
Yeah, once again, you'll see the get-offs from the defensive line. It's easy to see with these uniforms both teams are wearing today. But there's not a ton of penetration, and it's because Cardinal Mooney's getting off the ball and getting set in a comfortable distance where they can still get extension, peek and shed, what they say, and get to the ball carrier fast.
I believe that was Ray Vodhanel on the carry there, running into a wall of Mooney defenders there. So we'll have 2nd and 9 upcoming. And they like to talk to the coach before the game. They like to hand it to their fullback, too. And so far, it looks like Budo keeps it again. He's kept it about 3 or 4 times after faking it to that fullback.
I like that play out of the wing tee. Always have. So it's just a quarterback keeper off of the traditional trap that comes with the first play, I guess, you install if you're going to run a wing tee offense. That time the quarterback keeps it, follows the would-be ball carrier, creates a couple matchup problems. That's a nifty play, and they got some positive yards. At this point in the game, it's really just about making sure you keep positive yards, stay in front of the sticks. If you keep doing that, games tend to change.
Jairo Warren, the fullback there that he's been faking it to. And you mentioned that trap, Coach. That trap is effective. Playing in the wing T formation myself a couple times as Buta rolls out. He throws it, and he fits it in there, but it's not reeled in there by Vodhanel, and it'll bring up a 4th and 8. upcoming for Boardman.
They scored on that play, I think, twice last year, definitely once, and just that wheel coming out of the backfield, very hard for linebackers and safeties to pick up. That time it wasn't as open as it was has been in the past, but this time Mooney's safety, their linebackers saw it developing and then jumped on it.
So ball on the 27-yard line in Boardman territory. They're going to punt it away to Mooney here. 9:35 remaining here in the first half. On the punt for the Spartans is Gabe Hammerton. And he gets another one away and nearly blocked, but Mooney wisely running up on it. Nice catch there. Nice way to track that ball down there. That was number 17 for the Cardinals, Mike Schiraldi, and he saved a lot of field position there catching that ball at the 50.
Yeah, you're right. How many times have we seen that play get mishandled in the past? Mike Schiraldi, another great athlete. Cardinal Mooney has excellent baseball player on the team, and just a guy who comes to the weight room and does everything he's asked to do. So it doesn't surprise me he makes a heads-up play, saves the Cardinals probably 10 yards of field position when a good player makes a play like that.
So Mooney stopped, forced to punt at last possession. They come out here starting this one from the 50-yard line. And Boardman's been keeping them at bay for the most part on the ground. We saw Ike Lake break that long one earlier, and when he gets out in space, folks, he is untouchable. And Boardman needs to just contain them if they want to have a chance at this one. 9:30 remaining here in the half. Gentile, he's going to toss it outside the Lake, and they keep him inside, and they bring him down at the 48-yard line, 2-yard gain.
Soon as he tossed that ball, Boardman's outside linebackers triggered on that, and that's the only real way to stop that play from developing, no matter who's running it. If a player like Lake or any other kind of player is running it, you have to trigger down on that. Now, eventually he can throw the ball on that, I guess, but rarely is that done. But once you see that, outside backers got to get on it. And Boardman did a great job of it.
So for Boardman here, you got number 10 and number 2 here, Jerry Smith and Ray Vaughn-Honnell. They're going to have very important jobs tonight, keeping Ike Lake inside, keeping him contained. And that's how Boardman, I think, as a false start here on Mooney, that's how Boardman's going to be able to contain this run game. Don't let Ike get out in space.
No doubt. And he seems like he has established a reputation for himself at this point. He gets in the open field, and defensive backs don't seem to know what to do with him out there. It seems like he's got everybody playing on ice skates when he gets the ball in the open field, because he can cut, he can lower his shoulder. There's lots of different things he can do. I'm sure all of it's on film, but you're right. It's important to get him stopped before the momentum gets going.
So after the false start, coming up, we got 2nd and 13 here for Cardinal Mooney. Gentile in the gun. He's going to give it to Lake. Lake's got some space. Once again, he's going to break it to the outside. Here he goes. He's across the 40 at the 35. He's across the 25. Cuts it in. Cuts it back outside. Ike Lake is gone once again, folks. Touchdown, Cardinal Mooney.
A 53-yard score this time. And there is an example of your pursuit angles. Boardman was in position to make plays, but you just can't break down when you get a player like Ike Lake in the open field. He's going to leave you out there. So you have to really shoot for the hips, shoot near hip, near leg, like you're taught to do in modern football nowadays. Not to say Boardman doesn't do that, but the defenders and the pursuers were just a little hesitant, and that causes a player like Ike Lake to make moves like that.
So 8:11 remaining here in the first half as Gugliotta comes on to tack on the extra point. Good snap, good hold. It's through. 14-0 Cardinal Mooney here with 8:11 remaining here in the first half. We'll be back on YSN after this. Stick with us. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium as Gugliotta for Mooney tees it up with a 14-0 lead here. 8:11 remaining in the first half here, and Boardman going to try to answer with something. Boardman will receive the second half kick to open it up as it's caught at about the 10-yard line. He's brought down at the 20, as that's going to be Ryan Mitchell on the return there, and that's where Boardman will take over with their next possession.
Yeah, Matt, that's a good point. Boardman gets the ball to start the second half. Nobody's in trouble yet, although it just feels like that once you give up big plays, one big play after another. It just feels like you're playing farther back than you are, but they're not. And they have the ability to, as we've seen, chew off big yards in the run as long as they can just stay away from negative yardage, negative plays, obviously a turnover. but close ranks, do what makes them good, and they should be in good shape.
So last week it was the Vinny Gentile, Johnny Brenner, who else was there? Braden Bryant show. Now it's the run game. Tyree Dawson, Ike Lake, they're just tearing it up on the ground. We'll see if Boardman comes up with an answer for that here. 1st and 10 from their own 20. It's going to be Budo. He's going to roll out to the near side. He's going to look for a man, and he's got nothing. He's going to be brought down for a 4-yard loss there. Good coverage there by Mooney.
Yeah, that's going to go as a sack for Keywan Dean, just pushing the quarterback out of bounds as he looks to throw the ball. A good play call by Boardman on 1st down off that play action, but Keywan Dean and Rocco Zabel triggered on it as soon as he broke the pocket. Keywan Dean came in and cleaned it up.
Now, listen, as a guy that went to Boardman, I know that Boardman's the experts. They teach classes in the wing T formation here and jet sweep and this and that. But Mooney saw a variation of this last week in Chardon.
Yeah, and that's a real big deal in this game because that's not something that's easy to prepare for. You don't have the personnel on the other team on the other side of the ball to practice it. And I'll stop talking, Matt, so you can get to the play-by-play.
No, you're good. I set you up for that one. 2nd down, and it's going to be a nice gain there, and it's going to be Ryan Mitchell on that carry. So it's going to make it a manageable 3rd and about 7.
And this is the point where I always hesitate to really endorse a wing T offense because when you get in these situations, it's just hard to dial up a pass out of nowhere when you really haven't set it up the way modern offenses have. Now, the wing T is in vogue across the nation on all levels, but you really have to be careful to modernize it and keep it to a point where you can call everything off of everything.
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier the important thing about the wing T is to stay on schedule, and right now Boardman just hasn't done that. But now we got 3rd and 7 here. Budo back to pass. He's going to roll out near side. He's going to look for a man, and it's tipped. He was intending to throw the pass there to Ryan Smith on the sideline, but it was tipped up in the air by a Mooney defender. Boardman's going to have to punt again here on 4th down.
I want to say there was some sort of miscommunication because he was rolling out into a flood concept. There were 2 receivers right on top of each other about a yard or 2 apart, so somebody didn't either run it deep or ran the wrong route because he just had nowhere to go with the ball.
Was that the old waggle play of the near side?
It could be the old school waggle play.
So 4th and 7 upcoming as Hammerton's on to punt for Boardman here. Gets the punt away. It's another nice punt, and this one's going to be returnable. It's caught. He's across the 50. He's across the 45, making a move. 35 now. Here he goes. He's still up the sideline. He's cutting it inside. Here he goes, and he's to the end zone for a touchdown. That's number 21, Jay Manningham, with a punt return for a touchdown, 50 yards out.
I keep talking about that young man. He is just one of those kids who's born to play football. He obviously doesn't have immense size, but he has shiftiness. He's fast enough, and again, he's got this innate knowledge to play football. As soon as he came to Cardinal Mooney last year, his family said, "This kid can play. Trust me." And as soon as he stepped on the practice field, he mixed it up right away.
So 20-0 Mooney here as Gugliotta coming on to tack on that extra point here. With 6:46 remaining here in the first half. High snap, but handled great once again. It doinks off the crossbar, and it is good. And we got to give another shout out there to number 17, Mike Schiraldi. Handles a high snap, gets it down, and Gugliotta just barely gets it over the crossbar, and it's good.
Yeah, you don't get style points for those. They just count. And like you said, Mike Schiraldi just doing a lot of things for the Cardinals today. We saw him catch that big 1st down play against the St. Joe's earlier. And you got to have those kind of guys on your team that are willing to do the little things, and they add up. It's unbelievable. But little yards right there, that's a point that could have been that's on the board because he did what he did. He saved 10 yards of field position early. That's the kind of player I think I was. So those always have a soft spot in my heart for the guys who do the little things.
Heck yeah, and I think you know what I'm going to say here, but Gugliotta, he's used to putting that ball underneath the crossbar. In soccer, he just doinks it over.
Good
that
point.
Time.
We got to let the Cardinal Mooney coaching staff in on that. It goes over it.
Must have forgot which sport he was playing.
An excellent soccer player who hits that top shelf a lot. So you wouldn't think that that would be something that happens, but no, we kid. He is an excellent player and made that happen.
Yeah, and that was a heck of a save by Schiraldi there as we were talking, as Gugliotta tees it up here at the 40 to kick it to Boardman. And it's go time for Boardman. Now, Boardman down 21-0. They still got a shot here because, as we mentioned earlier, Boardman gets the ball to start the second half. So if they can somehow punch one in here, not give it back to Mooney, they'll be in business once again as they let it go in the end zone.
And there's some of that strong leg from Gugliotta right there, as we're accustomed to seeing. But yeah, Boardman has got to make it happen right now, no doubt about it. I mean, fall behind 21-0 is already kind of a nightmare scenario. But there's nothing to say you can't make big plays out of your regular wing tee stuff. And if the linemen get on their plays and the plays hit fast and they invite these players upfield, they can make things happen. There's no doubt about it. They have the tools to do it. So with the history of this rivalry, I expect nothing less than the Spartans to make a game out of this and get on the scoreboard.
6:42 remaining in the half. Both teams with all three of their timeouts remaining. So it's crunch time, though, for Boardman here as they line up once again that wing T formation. We've got the one receiver out far side there. Budo's under center, and he's going to give it to Smith there, and Smith's going to be brought down in the backfield. Just not much going on the ground with that jet sweep or that lull play that they usually run out of the wing T there.
Yeah, once again, it's all from the front four from Cardinal Mooney, just eating up blocks, eating up double teams, making sure not to go crazy, come upfield, getting hands on those guards. And then, that's just a gift for your linebackers like Brian Lyons and Rocco Zabel and Brady Desmond can just kind of run around and have fun and collect some stats.
Boy, Rocco Zabel, he tore it up last week against Chardon. He was the most live guy on the field. We're talking to Coach Michael Zordich, Timmy Marlowe, and Gary Thornton today before the game. I mean, it just reminds us of how we played when we were younger. So we got second down, upcoming 2nd and 12. Fake toss by Budo, the quarterback. He's going to try to bring it up the middle, and again, he goes nowhere. Not much going on the offensive end for Boardman there. It's going to be 3rd and 11.
That time, Brian Lyons was actually getting blocked. I think it was the decision to maybe cut right there was he'll regret that when he looks at film. But, again, plays happen in lightning speed. Brian Lyons just had the leverage on that guard into that run fit into that alley right there, and he just cut right into him.
Do you think Brian Lyons and Rocco Zabel hang out off the field?
Well, yeah, they put there's pictures of them on the field all over Facebook that that the families post, and yeah, they're really tight. 3 years together as starters in that linebacker area, and yeah, they definitely play off each other's intensity.
They're like the same person out there as far as energy goes. Here we go, 3rd and 11 here. Budo, he's going to roll out to the near side. He's going to look for a man deep. He throws it to Smith, and it's going to be out of the reach of Smith. It's going to bring up another 4th down punting situation for Boardman. They've got no choice. They're deep in their own territory at their own 19, and they're just going to have to try to rely on their defense, try to get a sudden change.
Yeah, at this point, figure something out and just kind of make sure you keep Cardinal Mooney out of the end zone at all costs. That's just kind of what you have to do here. And that's the goal on every possession, but it becomes more imperative when you're down by 3 scores heading into the end of the first half.
Under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half as Hammerton steps on to punt the ball again. Wow, what a leap to get that ball, and it might have gotten tipped, and it's going to take a Mooney bounce as it bounces at the 30, and they'll spot it at about the 31-yard line in Boardman territory. So a major opportunity for Mooney to go for the jugular here with 4:47 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, you never need special teams miscues, but you definitely don't need them in your deep in your with your end zone right at your back, down 21 points. That was Don Wetlow, who's done that periodically. Blocked a punt against Cheney last year. A couple other big plays like that. Guys like that tend to make plays in these situations just based on their athleticism.
And Coach, we've seen our share of high snaps this year, but I'm going to give it to Gabe Hammerton there. Heck of an effort to get up his vertical out of this world, or must be at least, to go up and get that football and at least get the punt away.
Absolutely. Another one of those great plays that you don't see in the box score.
Gentile under center, and he's going to toss it to Lake near side. Lake's going to cut it upfield for about a 4-yard gain officially. It'll be 2nd and 6.
The same play we've seen all day, that little toss with the reach blocks, giving Ike the opportunity to cut upfield if he sees an alley. That time Boardman's run fit was up to the task, and the linebackers flowed well, came up to it.
So 2nd down and 6 upcoming, 4:21 remaining in the first half. Moody get plenty of time here, 3 timeouts. They can kind of take their time with this. You'd imagine they'd want to run this thing down as Beatty checks in. Gentile fakes to him. He's rolling out near side. He's going to throw it up in the air for grabs. Dangerous throw here, and it's going to bounce off the ground, incomplete. They're going to call it and bring up a 3rd and 6.
I'm sure Don Letlow is going to have a talk with Vince Gentile sometime today or in film session. He was open with about no player within a 10-yard radius of him, but the gunslinger decided to throw the ball deep, and you can't fault the young man for taking chances because one of those things you just can't coach. Why take the 10-yard play when you could have got a touchdown there?
Gentile, maybe a little bit overconfident tonight.
Right.
Took a risk earlier, threw a pick. Now, in that situation, you throw a pick, even a pick 6 there, that changes the dynamic of this game completely. So 3rd down and 6 upcoming, man in motion. It's Schiraldi. And Gentile, and I think Schiraldi got a step forward first before the ball was snapped.
That's exactly what happened. You can see it transpiring. A little excitement from the young man there, no doubt. Could have been assigned to have some sort of block, some sort of down block there, or running into a pattern. Either way, a little overzealous and cost them 5 yards.
So end up being a 3rd and 12, and now Boardman's got to take advantage of this. 4:04 remaining in the half. Got to try to get the ball back here for your Boardman. I believe, if you're Mooney, you're kind of thinking probably 4 downs. But they do have a pretty nice kicker here. But I don't know if they got, he's got the leg for this one.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask of any high school kicker. I would dial up 2 plays here if I was Tim Marlowe and see what happens. Why not?
Gentile, we might have another. We're going to get a timeout before.
I think a delay of game signaled from the back judge.
So let's see what they officially call this. Oh. They're waving off the flag. So we had a flag for delay of game, but also a timeout signal by the official. They are going to wave the flag off. Mooney got the timeout in. Officials kind of usually lenient on both sides there. Give that extra second to call a timeout there. But 4:03 remaining. Mooney's going to call their first timeout of the game. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. Mooney 21, Boardman nothing. 4:03 remaining in the first half. Back here on YSN from Stanbaugh Stadium. Mooney 21, Boardman nothing here. 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. Mooney trying to add on to their lead here. They're in Boardman territory at the 33-yard line, but thus far this possession, Boardman has been playing great defense. Big 3rd down upcoming, 3rd and 12. Gentile in the shotgun formation. And almost looks like another guy got an early start. Gentile rolls out to the far side. He's going to throw it once again up for grabs, and it's going to be an incomplete pass. Once again, good defense by Boardman on this possession.
Yeah, that time Jay Manningham from that 3-receiver spot on that trips formation ran a corner route. It was covered by a couple defenders. Boardman really had that concept matched up pretty well, so really nowhere for Vince to go with the ball.
So decision time for Mooney here, and they're kind of in that caught between that rock and the hard place. They're at the Boardman 33. It's 4th down and 12 now. It looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field. Not a lot to lose here. You got to think you're up 21. You have the option to kind of go for it here.
I agree. If there's ever a spot to do it, this is it.
Gentile in the shotgun formation, and he's going to fake to the back. He's going to throw it deep. They're going to take a shot. Boardman's defending it very well, and it's picked off. And he's got a chance. He's got some room to run. He's across the 25 to the 30, and a great tackle there. Let's see who's on the tackle there for Mooney. 54, Rocco Haas. But what a pick by, looks like, number 10 for Boardman. A huge play, Jerry Smith making a huge play. The Boardman defensive backs have been stout tonight.
They have been well. They have been in position to make plays, and then they have made them when they counted, or all with every opportunity they've had. A really good approach today by the secondary, just kind of sitting back, letting the concepts develop, jump into them in this match concept, and snuffing everything out that they've tried to do vertically. There has been some stuff open underneath Gentile's been elected to take some of those balls deep. The key there was the return, because if he just falls down inside the 5, that's like a punt. But the return was great. Now he's outside the 30-yard line, and Boardman is in business.
So 1st and 10, 3:44 remaining. Once again, 3:44 remaining in the first half. Boardman gets the ball to start the second half, so if there's a time, it's now here. Wing T formation, man in motion. It's Mitchell, and Mitchell kind of bobbles the pitch, and once again, Mooney stands him up. Gain of about 1. It'll be 2nd and 9.
That play has just not been there all game for the Spartans, so the key will be to find something, an adjustment as to match Cardinal Mooney's discipline on that front 4. They're just not coming upfield. They're getting good get-offs and good separation. That's why they're able to get off blocks and get to the play. Something that it didn't transpire last year was a little bit more of an aggressive approach by Mooney's defensive line last year coming up the field, but this time not so.
2nd and 9 upcoming here for Boardman. You got Ryan Mitchell in the backfield. Buto under center, and he's going to give it to Mitchell. Mitchell's up the middle, and he's got some room to run now, and he's at least the most he's had all night. So he's up to the 38-yard line, still in their own territory, going to bring up 3rd and short.
It seems like that's what they're going to have to do. Hit things fast before Mooney's defenders or front 4 can get that extension and get off blocks. If they can hit the hole fast and Boardman can stay on contact with them, then they're going to be able to find lanes.
3rd and 3 upcoming for Boardman. I'm just going to make an observation real quick. It seems like everything Boardman's trying to do on the run game, or for the most part, it's taking too much time to develop in the backfield.
That's a better way to put it. I think that's exactly what's happening.
So a little bit of an I formation variation of it, and this one's given to that's going to be Mitchell once again. He gets a first down. So here Boardman gets their first down in a long time here, 2 minutes remaining here in the half.
Same thing. That play took a second to develop, but not as much as the other ones did, with all the crisscrossing and the different backfield action that comes with the wing T. That time, that one did hit fast, not as fast as the prior play, but actually is not going to give them the first down. They're going to be short by about a yard, bringing up 4th down.
Wow.
And an interesting call.
That's an interesting spot. So we got 4th and 1 coming up here. So a huge play for Boardman, 1:40 on the clock ticking here. Boardman now trying to use the hard count a little bit, and they'll take a second to talk about it. So Boardman uses their first timeout now of the first half. 1:36 remaining. Mooney, 21. Boardman, nothing. Big 4th and 1 upcoming. Stick with us here on YSN. We'll be back. Back here, beautiful night here at Stambaugh Stadium, home of the YSU Penguins. Tonight, Boardman visiting Mooney. Mooney regularly plays their home games here. And a 4th 1 upcoming for Boardman at their own 40-yard line. Huge play in this ball game. Buto, and they get a guy to jump. What a huge decision to go hard count off of the timeout. Risky nonetheless, but it's going to give them a first down and 10. Fresh set of downs. Ball spotted now at their own 45.
Yeah, that was Dom Letlow. Just got a little excited right there when you got a guy who can come off the ball that hard and that fast. That is a little bit of a downside.
I love that play call. You know, a lot of times you try the hard count before the timeout, and then you just come right out, and on one, you just QB sneak it or something up the middle. Boardman goes hard count on 4th there as Budo's back to pass. They spread it out a little bit this time. He's rolling near side, and he's just going to throw this one towards the sideline. Intended receiver was number 17 there, Aiden Moore.
You know, if he would have sat and squared his shoulders, that receiver was open with good leverage on the defensive back. So maybe just a product of him running around all day under pressure. Just hasn't had that kind of muscle memory. That kind of quarterbacks get agitated fast, and you know that, Matt. Especially if they get pressure from the middle. Nothing annoys a quarterback more than that. So that could have been a product of that. If he settles down, that ball is a completion.
Mooney's been getting after most of the day. As Budo's back to pass, he's going to throw it downfield, and a lot of hand fighting on the sideline there. I don't see any flags. It looks like both of them were kind of going back and forth, but nonetheless, it'll bring up a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. And that time, that's a good play call by Boardman. Create a pocket for him. Boardman's offensive line is very, very good. They got all the starters coming back. They play well together. Created a nice pocket, but the receiver wasn't open.
So the most passing we've seen from Boardman thus far, as we coming up on a 3rd and 10 here, 1:25 remaining here in the first half.
Not so sure I would test Kingston Powell out there either. I might pick anybody else but him.
3rd and 10, Boardman, it's Budo rolling out near side. He's going to throw. He's got a man. It's number 2, and it's popped out. I don't know if they'll call that incomplete, and it looks like there's a flag on the play, so let's see what they signal it. It looks like they're going to signal incomplete. Flag on the play. We'll see who it's on.
It's like a chop block, Matt. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but it was Ray Vadhanel. We've called his names multiple times tonight. Seems like the only guy that's really getting himself involved for Boardman here, outside of the 2 backs that they give to quite often. But nice throw, nice catch, just got popped out by the defender.
Declined.
So trying to listen for
That
the
will
call
bring up
here.
4th down if that's the case.
So regardless of the flag, we're not sure what it was, but it was declined, and it will in fact be a 4th down and 10 upcoming. I thought so, at least. They're not changing the down marker.
Yeah,
3rd and 10, it looks like. I thought it was 4th, but here goes Budo rolling out, and he's going to throw it away. I am confused there, but now they're going to mark it as 4th down.
That was 4th down. I don't know if Mooney would have declined that penalty if they didn't get the down, but somebody missed something there, and I'm sure maybe it was us.
The only thing I could think of there is if they were offsetting penalties and we just redid 3rd down. That I guess that signal is very similar to the decline signal. So, nonetheless, it's going to be 4th down. Boardman had a nice little drive, better than they have had recently, but Hamilton's going to come on to punt here for the Spartans. So 1:16 remaining, 21-0. Mooney still in the lead here, and we're going to get a timeout by Cardinal Mooney. So we will take an opportunity to take a timeout ourselves. We'll be back here on YSN from Stambaugh Stadium. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, punt upcoming here. Gabe Hamilton is going to get the punt away. This time it's a beauty, and it's brought in. It's bobbled. It's bobbled by Schiraldi, and I think Mooney is back on it. Man, what a heads-up play by number 0 there. That's Kingston Powell. And a big break for Mooney. It was in Schiraldi's hands, out of it. A lot of Boardman guys around it, but Kingston Powell sneaks in there.
Yeah, he definitely better shake Kingston Powell's hand on the sideline there, because heads-up play by the 4-year starter senior. Because you're right, there was a host of Spartans around that ball, and somehow that kicked up to Kingston Powell. And all the bounces are going Cardinal Mooney's way today.
That's there's a lot that could have transpired out of that muffed punt there if Boardman would have ended up getting on top of that ball. So we got 1st and 10 coming up for Mooney, 1:08 on the clock. And it looks like they're going to spread it out here, probably take a couple shots here to get downfield, extend this lead before halftime.
You definitely look to extend the lead here. Now, whether what you do, that's the question. Definitely a passing formation.
Shotgun formation, they're going to toss it outside the Lake. Lake's going to try to cut it inside, and Boardman contains him this time, minimal gain of 1 yard here at the 39.
Boardman's done pretty well with that play today. When it has broken, it's because Ike has been Ike Lake and made plays off his cuts and changing direction and beating some pursuit angles. But for the most part, Boardman, who's been running a 3-man front, has been doing very, very well with that play, because they're outnumbered on the point of attack on that.
So clock rolling here, 39 seconds remaining in the half. Mooney's got 2 timeouts remaining, Boardman with 1, and 2nd and 9 upcoming. Gentile's going to give this to Lake up the middle. Lake's going to cut it outside, and anytime he cuts outside, could be a big play. He gets about 7 on the carry, close to a 1st down.
And that play looked like that had some possibilities there, but a good play by the Spartans defense there, making a tackle as it was getting blocked.
Timeout called by Mooney. We'll take a quick break. 21-0 Mooney, 25 seconds remaining in the first half. And we are back here, 25 seconds remaining in the first half here at Stambaugh Stadium. Mooney 21, Boardman nothing here in this rivalry game. And we're going to have a 3rd down and 1 upcoming for Mooney here. And, Mooney just coming out of a timeout here. They will have 1 remaining. Actually, I think they're going to charge that timeout to Boardman. So Mooney has, they're charge it to Mooney. Mooney has no timeouts left. They're out of timeouts. Boardman has 2 timeouts left. as we have a 3rd and 1 upcoming for Mooney here. Gentile out of the under center. He's going to give to Dawson. Dawson's going to be around the corner for a first down. And as the chains move, we'll probably see about one more run play from Mooney, judging on how this drive's going, and we'll hit the locker rooms.
Yeah, with 20 seconds left, you kind of felt that they were going to give it a few run plays. With Gentile had thrown a couple balls, didn't go his way earlier, so there's no reason to help Boardman get in this game. Get Gentile back on track, talk about what might have happened, come back out and work on some of those passes in the third quarter.
Shotgun formation, Gentile, and he's going to give it to Lake. Lake's going to try to cut it outside. Oh, Lake fumbles the ball, but quickly gets back onto it as he's brought down for a loss, and I'm pretty sure they'll be content with that to take that one into the locker room here as the clock ticks down. And we are going to hit halftime with a score of Mooney 21, Boardman nothing. We'll take a break here, and we'll bring it back for some band action. It looks like Boardman band's getting ready to take the field. We'll be back here on YSN. And we welcome you back here to Stambaugh Stadium here, home of the YSU Penguins, as we have the rivalry tonight between Cardinal Mooney and Boardman as we get set to start the third quarter. So far, Mooney dominating this one early. We had a couple touchdown runs from Mooney. I think they were all touchdown runs, actually, that made up the 21 points.
Besides Jay Manningham's 50-yard punt return for a touchdown.
That's right.
Yeah, it was all on the ground. And, Matt, you and I talked about it. It's worth mentioning. If you're just kind of tuning in and you see one team in black uniforms, don't adjust or call any of the YSN executives. That is Cardinal Mooney High School in all black and with red outline on the white numbers, taking the blackout theme to another level, buying new uniforms for the occasion, with substituting the Cardinal on the white helmet for a skull and crossbones look. It seemed to be working as inspiration for the players. This old school traditional Cardinal Mooney man can't really wrap my arms around it yet.
It's definitely a change here. It's when initially when Mooney walked into the stadium, and I already had seen Boardman arrive. I was like, wait, what's going on here? Is this a different team? Am I at the right game? Mooney wearing those black uniforms, and I'm just so used to seeing those Mooney colors, the maroon and gold, as it's kicked off and going to be returned at the 10-yard line. It was Mitchell stepping in front of his partner there, and he gets brought down to 25. Boardman will start the second half with the ball, but we have a Spartan shaken up here. So right away here, we'll step aside on YSN for an injury for the Spartans, and we'll be right back after this on YSN. Ryan Mitchell, the shaken up Spartan on that one. He jogs off the field, so we hope to see him get back in there as Boardman starts their first possession here, the second half, down 21-0. Here we go, 1st and 10. It's going to be given to Ryan Smith this time. Smith's going to get positive yardage for about 2.
Once again, Mooney's defensive line coming out of the locker room, playing the same exact way they played all half. Just coming off the ball hard, playing with discipline, getting off blocks, linebackers cleaning up plays.
At a certain point here, Coach, when you keep kind of running into that brick wall over and over again, and it's not working, do you make a decision? Let's spread it out a little bit. Let's try something different.
Yeah, one of the plays that comes with that wing T package, you can throw to those wing backs. You can throw the ball to the tight ends. Cardinal Mooney's rolling down their safeties a lot during the day, so we'll see if that comes to play for the Spartans.
Just underway here in the second half, over 11 minutes remaining, and a little hesitation on the motion there, but it's going to be that fake toss, and Budo's going to keep himself up the middle, gets a decent gain out of it. It's close to a first down here, and man, these officials, one official is telling him move the chains, the other one's spotting it a yard short.
I am not a guy who's ever gets on officials, but this year we've seen some things that you would think that would be more of a teachable moments for them than anything else. Biggest thing is not getting the signals in. We're not, it is putting us in a weird spot where we can't really tell what's going on. But regardless, we can't play without them, and they're doing a great job.
1st and 10. Ball at Boardman's 35-yard line, and good to see Ryan Mitchell back out there as he gets the handoff, and he gains about 2 on the play.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, let's face it, Boardman has its entire playbook still open. If Mooney scored 21 points in the first half, Boardman can, and that's the way you got to approach it as a coach. I mean, so you got to get stops, you got to get first downs. Nothing really changes, so they got to kind of play like there's no score on the board. Absolutely,
play like there's no score on the board. Also, you have to score on this possession, though. If you're Boardman, you don't want to give it back to Mooney here, down 21. But what a difference it would make if you can punch one in and make it 21-7 here to start off the second half.
Exactly.
So a little shift here. Boardman, 2nd and 8 upcoming, that wing T formation motion here. That's Ryan Smith. He's going to cut it upfield. He's got some momentum, and he gets down to about the 45. And it's going to be close to another first down. The officials are both going to be on the same page this time, marking a yard short.
So great play by Boardman's offensive line. As you see, once Cardinal Mooney sees that toss, and their pursuers trigger to the ball, Boardman's offensive line just kind of stayed on their blocks and took the players where they wanted to go. And so it's like a knockout zone kind of concept, and it allowed a running lane right there. So well played by Boardman's offensive line.
An interesting thing about the wing T here that we've seen so far, we haven't seen that true horizontal motion. We've seen that kind of rounding motion as the ball is given up the middle. That looks like a trap play. Actually, first trap of the night I think I've seen, and that's number 9 for Boardman, Frank Budo.
Yeah, first traditional trap of the game right there. Fast hitting. We talked about that earlier, Matt. If they're going to gain any momentum offensively, they've got to hit these plays fast, because you had the good observation earlier that the plays were just developing a little too slow. Mooney's defenders were able to kind of get off blocks and make plays, but there we see an example of hit these plays fast before those things can happen, and they're going to find success.
We'll see if they rely on the trap a little more. Maybe not this play, as we got the fullback lining up a little bit closer. It's possible. The trap offers that cutback lane. Same with that motion, that rounding motion, that lull play offers the cutback. Haven't really seen much hit out of that. Here's another one of those, and there's cutting it up the field is Ryan Mitchell that time. So positive gain, and it's going to move the chains once again for Boardman.
Boardman's offensive line absolutely just kind of shot off the ball right there. And you can see Cardinal Mooney's defensive line just kind of get swallowed up a little bit and move back. And that's the kind of offensive line play that they're accustomed to seeing. And that could be a sign of some things to come in this half.
So pardon me, it'll actually be 2nd and 3. A nice gain there on first down there. Boardman driving here in Mooney territory at the 41-yard line. And instead of the motion, they're just going to give it to him off the snap here and cut it outside as Mitchell. And Mitchell does look like he's got enough for a first down on that play. So first down here at the Mooney 36 for Boardman, once again driving.
So if you were to go back and look at that play, you'll see Mooney's defensive line is shooting gaps a little bit, coming upfield, whether or not that's designed to create some sort of pressure or create some chaos on the front. Regardless, they're coming upfield a little bit more than they did in the first half, and you see Boardman's getting some running space.
So once again, wing T formation, 1st and 10 from the 36, and the trap play is going to be given up the middle. And once again, that's Frankie Budo for a gain of about 2.
Nice cutback lane was there too. So it's a lot of times that when you do get in those piles, if you can just keep your head up and cut back, there are some lanes there. So look for the coaches to bring some attention to that, to the Spartan running backs.
It's number 58 there for Mooney. J.T. Smith looked a little shaken up on the play. He gets up, runs off the sideline pretty quick here. So we'll continue play here. 2nd and 8 upcoming. Here, 7:30 remaining in the third quarter. And here's the thing about Boardman's offense. They dug themselves a hole down 21 here. And that's why it's so important to score now, because if this is the offense you're going to run the rest of the night, the clock is involved here. You have to be able to keep up with the clock to tie this game. Motion, it's going to be Ryan Mitchell. Fake toss, it's going to be Budo up the middle, and he's going to gain about 2, if that. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 6 upcoming for Boardman.
Yeah, little hesitation there probably caused a couple yards that he could have had there, but regardless, that is a nice play. It's been productive for them all day. I look for them to kind of go back to that, or even maybe throw something off of it. It's working now, so that should kind of pique the ears of the Boardman Spartans coaching staff. It's like, wait a second, now what comes off of this play?
To me, Coach, it's such an odd play to run that QB draw like play under center. It just looks so awkward to me, but you're right. It has been working for them. One of the few plays that has here. 3rd and 6 for Boardman. And they're going to give it to Mitchell, and Mitchell's going to be stopped in his tracks there. Maybe one, if that, and it's going to bring up a 4th down and a long 5 coming up for Boardman with 6:16 to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Mooney's linebackers tracking guards, tracking pullers, so they can't insert without some sort of problems. And once they insert, they're finding those linebackers, creating the right leverage. When you see backs in the backfield other than the tailback or quarterback, you kind of know that you're probably going to have to deal with some sort of insert. So Mooney's been really dealing with that very, very well all night long.
So 4th and 5, 5:45 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Boardman got to have a sense of urgency here, and this is a big play. They need it. 4th and 5. Here we go, man in motion. And he's going to fake the toss. He's going to look to pass. He's got a man, and it's caught. What a catch there by Ryan Mitchell for a huge 1st down play for Boardman.
We said that play was going to come up sometime big for the Spartans today, and it did. But for the first time, I think all day, we've seen them try to exploit the middle of the field. There was number 14 for Boardman broke open on a little post route.
C.J. Rice.
Yeah, and I think it surprised some Cardinal Mooney defensive backs because they had to kind of grab the jersey a little bit. I think he might have been going there first. So look for them to try to exploit some plays in the middle of the field as we progress here.
So 1st down inside the 20. Boardman threatening to get back in this football game here. A nice throw on that 4th down play by Vinny Budo, and an even nicer catch, I'd say, by Ryan Mitchell there. He's going to throw it up the middle. He's got it, man. It's number 9, and it's a touchdown for the Spartans. What a catch. Frankie Budo, what a throw in traffic. And the Spartans get themselves on the board here, 21-6.
Yeah, just like I said, I knew that they were going to come back to the middle of the field. It's been kind of open there all day, especially with them getting those linebackers to pursue fast and to defeat those inserts. But right there, what a wonderful play call. Great execution by Boardman. We have a ball game, I think you can say.
And, Coach, highlight that play, that 4th down play, that connection from Budo to Mitchell there. Because if they don't get that, huge turning point. This game ends up in a blowout. Completely different story now. It's a 2-score game, just a little more than halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, great call, Matt. That was a massive swing of events.
As on to kick the extra point is number 28 for Boardman, and that's going to be Oswaldo Salinas. He gets it up and through, and Boardman gets that extra point there to make it 21-7. Mooney's still up, but Boardman creeping back in it. We'll be back here on YSN. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, we've got ourselves a ball game, as Coach Tady had mentioned. 21-7. Mooney's still leading. Boardman's about to kick it off to them, so we'll see if Boardman's offense comes out, starts hot, answers the call. Let's see if Boardman's defense can come out and do the same.
Yeah, look for them to apply a little bit of pressure here. Oh, there's the onside kick.
Wow, an onside kick for Boardman, and it looks like Boardman gets on the football. What a huge turn of events here. Boardman's going to start on offense with it on the Mooney 47-yard line. What a great onside kick. That's Gabe Hamilton.
And we've seen some teams try that against Cardinal Mooney this year. I think they might have come close to giving one up earlier this year. Canfield, maybe somebody, I don't recall off the top of my mind, but it has been tried against Cardinal Mooney a couple times.
Chardon,
yeah, and they got it, correct?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, early in the game, and they converted on it. So definitely somebody seeing something on Cardinal Mooney's approach on the kick return team. But regardless, massive boost for the Spartans.
I mean, in a long drive for the Spartans, so Mooney's defense has been out there for a long time, and here come the Spartans once again. They're going to give it to Mitchell. Mitchell's up the middle, and you got to think this is where this wing T offense can hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely, because eventually, you can't ask any defense to be out there now for going on 8 minutes straight in this half. So Mooney's done a great job of rotating in fresh players, but regardless, once they feel that momentum, they're getting off. Boardman's offensive line is getting off the ball better than they ever have tonight. So yeah, it's a very, very opportune time for the Spartans, and they must capitalize on this.
Mitchell with a 5-yard gain there, so 2nd and 5 upcoming, and mentioning that's kind of the advantage of kind of beating your head up against that wall over and over again, because that wall's taking some damage too, and that's Mooney, who they've got to be a little exhausted by that. and Boardman, trying to break through. It looks like they're scraping a little bit. Reverse time, and it's going to be as Mooney tries to get the ball. Mooney stripped it. They're pointing that they got the ball, and the officials indeed say that Mooney has it. What a strip play there. Mooney swings the pendulum way back in their advantage immediately, and they'll get the ball on offense at their own 35.
Great play by Cardinal Mooney first to get after that ball and then to recover it. But you got to feel bad for the ball carrier Ryan Smith there. Made a great play call off that reverse action, and he's got the ball. He's driving his legs, fighting for that every other extra inch. And then sometimes when ball carriers do that, they forget that one important thing, which was the ball. And momentum back on Cardinal Mooney's side. It looks.
So Mooney. I won't even want to say catching a break. They made their break there. Now they're at their own 36, and Gentile's going to maybe take a shot here. He fakes it to Lake, and Lake, oh my goodness, Gentile, he throws it out. That was intended for number 4 there. Brady Desmond in on offense there, and a dangerous throw by Gentile.
Yeah, that especially on the other side of the field. He kind of, Coach Marlowe has talked about Vince Gentile's arm talent, as he calls it, and it's said all through, throughout the country in football. But he does, and that time he dipped that shoulder on, tried to get it over to Desmond, but very risky going across field with a defender in the flats.
So 2nd down and 10 for Mooney, stack I formation, Gentile under center, and they are going to toss to Lake this time. Lake getting outside as he always does, and he gets about 3 yards there for the Cardinals.
Once again, Boardman there at the point of the attack on the play had to kind of stop for a 1-yard loss, but just that little shift that you can't coach in the running backs, and he just jumped out of that tackle and busted up the sideline for a healthy gain.
That's multiple times, whether it's been Dawson, Beatty run the ball, Ike Lake, or even Manningham, the returner, you think they're down, and they just somehow find their way outside and they get slippery. So 3rd down coming up for Mooney. Gentile looking, he throws the slant. It's off the hands, and the flag is thrown. You wonder if this is pass interference. That ball intended for Kingston Powell there. And it looks like they will, in fact, call pass interference. Still waiting.
Yep, that is the call from the head referee. Kingston Powell is, without a doubt, their best route runner. He gets these incredible leverage on his stem, and then once he does that, you can do anything on those slants, and it's up to the quarterback to kind of time it up. And that time, he got off on such a good break that it forced the defender to resort to holding him or whatever else. It might have been a touchdown. So
Mooney catching a break there, and we got 1st and 10. They've got on their own 49. This is to Lake up the middle. Lake slipping through the middle. He's trying to find his way to the outside, and he's brought down there by Ryan Mitchell. Big tackle by Mitchell and a 4-yard gain by Ike Lake.
I think before we go on, we have to say that I see Bud McSooley on the sideline for Boardman. What an addition to their staff. He is a Boardman grad. He told me 50 years ago this year, but regardless, a longtime coach at Girard. He was the first coach that I worked for when I got the job at Girard, so it's great to see him still on the sideline contributing, kind of a treasure in this area for football.
Absolutely. 3:03 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Mooney with 2nd down and 5 upcoming. Toss outside, far side to Ike Lake. Ike Lake trying to find his way once again outside. Boardman containing him for a gain of about 3 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for the Mooney.
That time, Ike gets the ball, dips into traffic, and out. It's almost like he's inviting the defenders to kind of come in and then dips out within one step. We can talk about it all season, which we're probably going to, but it's just amazing to watch that kind of player play right in front of your eyes here, because they don't come along that often. And Mooney has had a litany of running backs throughout its history, but I think Ike is going to be one of those ones that you mention up there with the greats.
Absolutely. Braylon Hurd, there's definitely a ton of them. As Tony Beatty gets the carry and he's down. He's got a 1st down at about the 37-yard line of Boardman. You talk about Brandon Beecham, Braylon Hurd. There's just so many. Marcus McWilson. There's so many backs that you could talk about in that Mooney history. Michael Zordich.
Yeah, you just kind of pulled those from one era. Going all the way back to the great Ted Bell. Was the greatest running back in the country when he played. And now we're seeing maybe the future with Tony Beatty and Tyree Dawson.
Injured Spartan on the play, so 2:05 remaining here in the third. Mooney 21, Boardman 7. We'll be back here on YSN. Getting set to get back going here. 2:05 remaining in the third quarter. As the injured Spartan, I believe that was number 10, Jerry Smith. He jogs off the field under his own power, so we hope to see him back out there. Mooney's got a fresh set of downs here, 1st and 10. Beautiful night here in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, nice crowd for a high school football game here. And we talked about how sprawling the stadium is and how historic it already is, even since opening back in the early 80s. Love coming here.
It's majestic. And it looks like a false start there for Ike Lake there, and it's going to back him up 5, make it a 1st and 15. I mean, if you look at the high side of this stadium, I was talking to Coach earlier, you wrap that thing around, that's the Rose Bowl right there. At least you would think. There's a lot of seating on that side.
It is a wonder of engineering, to be sure, and really reflective of just the toughness and the grit of Youngstown with, the beauty of it as well. And so much has gone down here. You can almost come here, you see the echoes of all the great plays in high school and in college that have happened here.
Absolutely. Youngstown State looking pretty good this year so far. Got a big game coming up against South Dakota State October 4th right here at the Ice Castle.
Would love to see the Penguins reassert themselves as the best college football program in the country.
1st and 10 here, give to number 4, and that's Desmond. He's going to be brought down. A nice game for him at the 35-yard line. It's going to bring up, probably got half the yardage that they need there. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Great for an offensive coordinator to be able to, once in a while, give the ball to a guy like Brady Desmond, who we've talked about periodically throughout the year, who just runs with the kind of force that you don't really see in high school players, besides maybe everybody on Canfield's team who runs like that. But that's a rare breed they got going on there. But Brady Desmond, just one of those players that you just want to give the ball to once in a while.
2nd 8, Lakes in the backfield, and they're going to give it to Desmond once again. Desmond's got some room to run. He cuts it outside. He's at the 15-10. He's brought down at the 8, and man, late push there.
There's the flag.
They do throw the flag because Desmond ended up near the steps of the high side of the stadium here at YSU.
Yeah, he crashed through that signage that YSU has on the fields for games, and definitely looked like it was probably late there. So regardless, when you get anybody on the sideline and you're pursuing so hard, it's hard to kind of hold back. It didn't look malicious, but definitely late. I
think that tent sign actually saved him from, possibly going on to the outside track there.
Yeah.
Because, definitely a late hit there. We got a flag. It's going to be 1st down and goal. Mooney's going to be in the driver's seat here with under a minute to play here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and when you do come with that sort of aggression and running style, it's going to invite players coming at you like that. And aggression like that in aggressive play always tends up to get positive things like that happen. Although it wasn't positive for his body, regardless, it's a positive development in the yardage.
Gentile getting his guy set. He's in the pistol formation now. He's going to fake it. He's going to give it up the middle. That's Tony Beatty, and Tony Beatty is going to be in for a Mooney touchdown, extending their lead 27-7.
Yep, fake the jet sweep to Mike Schiraldi, freezes the linebackers, and there was a massive hole there for Beatty to run in. I don't even think he realized it was going to be that big, because it looked like he stutter-stepped and waited for something to happen or to a tackle to avoid. Regardless, that was an easy touchdown for the Mooney offense. Great play call there.
And how you knew that hole was so wide and it was going to be an easy touchdown, as soon as Vinny Gentile hands that ball off, he looks at our side and he starts putting his hands up like it's going to be a touchdown. As Gugliotta punches it through, and we've got ourselves a 28-7 ball game here. Mooney extends their lead. Let's see if Boardman can answer back here. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. We'll be back after this on YSN. Back here at Stanbaugh Stadium, Jacob Gugliotta getting ready to kick this one off to Boardman. As Boardman running out of time here as we're near the end of the third quarter. It's going to be returned by Ryan Mitchell, and he breaks a tackle, but Great coverage by Mooney there, and Boardman will start their next drive on their own 26-yard line as we have a flag late.
Late flag coming in. These rivals are starting to get a little chippy, and judging by Cardinal Mooney's reaction, it looks like Boardman is going to get hit by a personal foul penalty of some sort. Of course, that's just from the Cardinal reaction, but it doesn't seem like the Spartans are protesting too much here. So whatever happened in that scrum looked like Boardman is going to get hit with a wrap here.
So officials conferring here to talk about the call here. You almost wonder if it's going to be offset. We got unsportsmanlike conduct called against Mooney, and then unsportsmanlike conduct called against Boardman. So that will offset, and we will get a first down here with Boardman starting at their own 27-yard line.
Good call, Matt, and that's usually what transpires from that, especially with this kind of rivalry. You get a sense that Mooney might pin its ears back here and kind of try to get after the quarterback. What do they have to lose? It's, with an offense like Boardman runs, while it's a possibility that they can rip off big run plays out of traps and buck sweeps, it's not usually likely.
So Boardman once again now down 21. They've still got a whole quarter and some change to play here, and they stay in the wing T formation. They're going to pitch it out to Ryan Mitchell, and a little hip drop tackle there on Mitchell. But it's going to be a loss, second down and long coming up for Boardman.
Big tackle for loss by Dom Letlow, who we've talked about as being possibly the best defensive player in the area. And just the athleticism, it's hard to get around him when he gets that kind of penetration, just where the point doesn't get deeper than the quarterback, just gets that incredible get-off that he's gifted with. And if you don't block him, he's definitely going to come down with the play. The athleticism just takes over.
So under 10 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. It doesn't look like Boardman's in any hurry to get one off here. So we're going to go into the fourth quarter. Mooney 28, Boardman 7. 12 minutes to play in this one. Mooney dominating. We'll see if Boardman get themselves back in it. We'll be back here on YSN after this. Back here at Stanbaugh Stadium, getting ready to start the fourth quarter between the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals and the Boardman Spartans here. Mooney up 28-7 here. Boardman kind of with a last gasp here. Got to score on this drive. You're thinking if they're even thinking about getting back in this game. As the handoff goes to Ryan Mitchell. Ryan Mitchell makes a nice cutback and gets a gain of about 5. And it's going to bring up another third down here. We got Cardinal with losing his helmet there. That's number 1, the big fella, Dom Letlow.
Dom had a tough game against Boardman last year. He left it all out on the field. He was playing with an injured arm, but he knows a lot of those Boardman guys I know, so this game is pretty personal to him. And he plays hard regardless of who he's playing, but so he's definitely erasing the memories of that a little bit today with his performance, with at least 4 tackles for losses.
Dom Letlow, one of the giants on this team. Him and Johnny Brenner just stick out like sore thumbs in warm-ups.
It's good to have guys like that coming off the bus a little bit sometimes to show the other team that got some power there.
Third and a long 9 here as Budo comes out, and he's going to be brought down for a sack. And that is Rocco Zabel. Who else to make the huge sack there on third down? And Boardman's probably going to have no other choice here but to punt.
Boardman's 2 tight ends were absolutely wide open on little corner routes, deep corner routes, I should say. And I was looking at the concept down here, so I didn't really see the pressure coming. And clearly that's what altered the play, because there was some wide open receivers. Also, some mix-up here on the routes, which we've seen a couple times from Boardman. A couple of the receivers ran into each other a little bit, which maybe caused a little hesitation.
Gabe Hammerton comes on to make the punt. And among the guys back to return is Jay Manningham, who has he brought one back for a touchdown earlier. Let's see if he goes for 2 here. He's going to try to cut it back. He cuts back and then cuts it up the middle and is brought down at the Boardman 47-yard line. Mooney's going to take over in great field position.
It'll be interesting to see how Cardinal Mooney approaches this. It's a rivalry game, and you don't ever want to run up a score, but at the same time, you definitely want to put the pedal down and make sure there's all gas, no brakes. A lot of these let these kids kind of get after it and make a statement in a rivalry game. That's kind of just the way it works.
For how effective Mooney's run game has been, I think you can do a little bit of both. You can chew clock, but also there's no running the score up if you're just running the ball.
Good point.
Or there's no complaints about that, but Mooney's just so effective at it, especially tonight.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Marlowe earlier this week, and he said, everything they do has a purpose or a play attached to it.
So 10-17 remaining here in the ball game as it's given to Dawson up the middle, and the ball is loose and picked up by Mooney. Oh, my goodness. Another missed opportunity by Boardman. That's about the second or third fumble that was just right in front of them.
Yeah, excuse me, man. I'm sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
No, that time, Keywan Dean just was the lucky recipient of Mr. Dawson's little bit of a miscue, but looks like Dewey Hurd is nursing what looks like to be a cramp, we hope, but I'm sure we'll cut away as they work on him.
And we will take a break here as they tend to the injured Cardinal. We'll be back here on YSN. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, 10:02 remaining here in the football game as it is the fourth quarter. Pardon me with the scoreboard there. We got it all corrected there. 28-7 here. Mooney leading, and Mooney's got the ball. And it's Ike Lake to the outside. Running to the inside. Actually, that's not Ike Lake. That's going to be Tyree Dawson. And we have a flag thrown. Looks like it might be on Johnny Brenner there. And that's going to be a hold. Johnny just kind of laid on the defender there.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive on that. I mean, you definitely want your players coming out and getting after it, but probably crossed the line there, and the Boardman defender noticed it when it happened. But too bad, he erases a nice game by Tyree Dawson. Nice hard run.
So 9:50 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And it's going to bring up a second and about 14 for Mooney. Ball spotted at the near hash. Mooney probably just happy to keep relying on the run game to keep the clock moving here as the clock is currently ticking. Gentile under center. And actually they're going to fake it. He's going to roll out far side. There's Gentile. He's probing. He throws it downfield, and just what he didn't want to do, it's picked off. And Boardman with their second interception of the game. That's number 10, Jerry Smith. Their third interception of the game, that might be Jerry's second.
I think you're right. But once again, that was a decent play call by Cardinal Mooney. But when you have that high-low kind of concept, you kind of run the risk of the defenders just kind of being easy to settle into their zones and cover that. And that's what happened. There was really nothing there right off the rip. He probably should have just tucked that one in and run it.
So kind of Mooney just wanting to just put the nail in the coffin here. But still, taking that shot, you run the risk of throwing that interception. Now you open that door just a little bit for Boardman. It's still going to be a tall task for them down 21 with 9:24 to play, especially given their offense.
Well, like you said, their secondary's played exceptionally well today. And it's something to hang your hat on no matter what happens in this game for next week.
So a run with that motion play to the far side. That's going to be Ryan Smith on the carry. No gainer there, second down.
Keywan Dean on the play there, tracked it down. I mean, just an incredibly athletic defensive lineman, a guy that probably could have started at tight end if Johnny Brenner wasn't on the team. That's how good he is. I believe he has a path to Mount Union for next year. Good kid, hard worker, just a guy you can kind of plug in wherever. He had a touchdown against Mayfield last year off a blocked punt.
So 8:50 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Boardman, 2nd and 10 upcoming. And you got to think, we saw some successful passing from Boardman, I think, to start the second half. Let's see if they can possibly get back to that as they're going to drop back to pass. He's going to throw it deep. He's got a man, and what a defensive play by the defensive back. That's Kingston Powell on the defense. But great throw by the quarterback there, Budo. He put it right into the basket of Ryan Smith.
Great throw, great idea for a play. Again, they seem to be testing the best cornerback on the field, so Kingston's going to make those kind of plays. Another guy who had a rough game last year against Boardman. I think he knows a lot of people from Boardman. I don't know if he lives in Boardman or not, but regardless, he had a tough game last year against them, and I know he probably didn't forget that all year long. So a play like that coming up over the top, batting a beautifully thrown ball on a nice route. away from the Boardman receiver is going to go a long way in erasing memories.
And at this level, those are all 50-50 balls unless the receiver's absolutely wide open. So great throw by Vinny Budo as he's back to pass again. Straight drop. He's going to look up to run, and he gets crowded by a bunch of Cardinals there at about the 20-yard line. They're going to mark him down to 21. It's going to bring up 4th and 8.
I think he looked for something else to be there that wasn't there, didn't transpire. I don't know if we've seen some miscommunications from Boardman receivers a couple times tonight, and I think that might have been what was the case there. He looked up, and all he saw was black jerseys and no receivers out there, so that's not a good scenario for a guy playing so hard tonight.
And Boardman, deep in their own territory, 4th down and 8. They're just going to elect to punt here with under 8 minutes to play in the ball game. I get it. You don't want it to get out of hand, but this is kind of your last hope here as Gabe Hammerton's going to punt this one away. Jay Hammerton, he's going to catch this thing, and we got a couple flags on the play. I'm interested to see what this is going to be. 2 different spots of the field, but actually the flags were thrown in the same location, so we'll wait on the call.
Hopefully we get a distinct signal here. Not to put the referees on the spot. It is an illegal block. You kind of had to feel that's what was happening there when that ball bounced. Then he decides to get it, and then defenders coverage team just turns around and blocks somebody. It just throws the play out of whack.
Absolutely. When that ball hits the ground, you're kind of thinking, you kind of slow down a little bit. You're thinking they're going to let the ball roll,
right,
down it. But then once he picks that ball up, okay, it's go time again.
Right.
So 7:27 remaining here in the ball game. And Boardman defense, I see number 9 out there. That's Frankie Budo. He's trying to get his guys going, not giving up. Playing hard till the end of the period here. And one thing you mentioned, Coach, is Boardman's secondary has been stout today. They haven't really had to defend. Every pass they've had to defend, they've done it successfully, but the run game has killed them.
Yeah, and when that happens, it's hard to make any serious headway on defense.
Tony Beatty that's going to be Frankie Budo, the Boardman linebacker we just mentioned, making the stop after a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, it will be up to Boardman here to kind of stop Cardinal Mooney from making the score look worse, than it already is. Because no doubt about it, the Mooney kids, as Boardman would want to do too, is just put the foot on the gas in this kind of rivalry.
Yeah, often these are kids that grow up in the same neighborhoods. One the kids either go to Catholic school or they go to the public school in Boardman, and you end up playing each other in these high school games after spending so much time going up against them. Bobbled handoff there, shovel pass, I guess we'll call it. And was that Kingston Powell on the reception there? Great job of him recovering it.
Yeah, that again, I don't know if Kingston thought he was going to get the ball or just didn't pull it in. Regardless, Boardman capitalized on it and had a good tackle for a loss, one of the few tonight. So they'll take it when they can get it. So hopefully for them, they can add a little pressure here and get Mooney in a precarious position if they decide to punt the ball.
So 6:20 and counting remaining here in the ball game. Moody just taking their time. They'll happily do so. As Gentile, you think, Timmy Marlowe just wants to give Gentile the opportunity to throw the ball. I'm sure Gentile is always in his ear. Hey, let me throw the ball, coaches. He gives it up the middle. That's going to be Tony Beatty. No, that's going to be Tyree Dawson. That's going to be brought down for a 3-yard gain, and it'll bring up 4th down for Mooney.
Yeah, you're right. You might want to be able to get your quarterback feeling better about himself after this game. And then again, sometimes when you have games like this, you kind of just want to leave it where it's at and get to the film and get better next week. There's no need pushing something like that when it's just not your night in terms of the quarterback play.
Mooney hosting Cheney next Friday night, 7 o'clock, right here at the Ice Castle. So, come on out, and if you can't join us right here on ysnlive.com. As we have Brady Desmond getting ready to punt this thing away. And it's going to roll, take a Cardinal Mooney bounce to the 21-yard line. That's where Boardman will start with the ball with a little over 5 minutes remaining here in the ball game.
Now we'll see if they open it up a little bit and try to make something happen fast.
Brady Desmond, the punter, he's kind of all over the field, kind of like a gadget player. Two guys I was talking to Coach Marlowe about before the game, Brady Desmond and Rocco Zabel. And we talk about Rocco's an absolute menace out there. He's the energy. And then there's Brady Desmond, who is the gadget player. And Coach Marlowe's even saying we might bring him into some Wildcat here. So keep an eye out for that.
We saw it last week.
So we have 1st and 10 for Boardman. Budo, he's back to pass. He throws the quick out, and that'll be a nice little 2-yard gain. And that's going to be Ray Vodhanel. His first catch of the second half, his first action, I'd say. We call his name a bunch in the first half, been quiet in the second half so far.
Yeah, it looks like they're going into some sort of no huddle, muddle huddle kind of thing, getting plays from the sideline, doing what they can to make something happen out of these last 5 minutes of the game. That's a tall task for any team. Yeah. 3 scores in 5 minutes. That would be an epic meltdown.
Under 5 minutes remaining in this one here is Budo's going to be back to pass. He's going to look to run, and he is gobbled up in the backfield, and that's going to be the man we were just talking about a little bit ago, Dom Letlow.
He's been all over the field. That time he just pinned his ears back, got off the ball, kind of weaved in and out of 3 offensive linemen and got to the play and just kind of used that length of his to kind of get around, grab the quarterback, and it seems like once he gets his hands on a quarterback, it's bad news for an offense.
So as the clock ticks down here, Cardinal Mooney striking all over the place tonight. I think it started with Ike Lake. Again, Tyree Dawson had a nice touchdown. Tony Beatty with the touchdown, and also Jay Manningham. So a little bit of a mix-up here with spreading the wealth as far as touchdown goes for Mooney here as an incomplete pass is thrown by Budo.
Yeah, once again, and why not? Mooney just pinning its ears back, trying to get to the quarterback. It's a dangerous position to be for any offense, but that's the hand that they're dealt at 4:07 left in the game. And Dom Letlow has seemed to be having a little fun right now.
And you said Dom Letlow, once again, putting that pressure on Vinny Budo there. And you saw a little respect given at the end there. They respected Boardman's fighting here till the end. And they're pretty clean game so far. It's a rivalry. We expect to see a little chippiness, but not terribly amount. As Manningham receives the punt, brings it down to the Boardman 34-yard line, and that's where Mooney will take over here with under 4 minutes to play.
Yeah, the rivalry, dates back very, very far. It's very intense, very, very personal, and this one looks like it's going to be one of the more lopsided ones in the history. In my time at Cardinal Mooney, we lost 3 games to beat him as freshmen, but that doesn't really count from my point of view because back then freshmen didn't even smell the field. We were in the stands watching the game. So nonetheless, again, that's 30-some years ago, and I still remember all 3 games. So it's part of the mythology, I guess, of this area, yep. Boardman, Mooney, and if you're involved in it. And I know, Matt, like you said, as a former player, Boardman, you didn't get to play Mooney.
Nope.
And it was just one during that schedule also.
They brought it back in 2010. I graduated 2009, and boy, I wish we could have played them for sure. As it's given up the middle, that's going to be Tyree Dawson. Tyree Dawson's loose, and a touchdown-saving tackle there by Ryan Mitchell at the 6-yard line. Mooney strikes for another big run.
There we go, with the shifty ability of Cardinal Mooney's running backs, ball carriers being able to get in and out of tackles. The way around it is you just got to get to these ball carriers and never break down. It's just shoot hips, and hopefully you get him. If you don't, at least you get him to stop and not make a move. That way he can't get a move, and somebody else will clean it up. But, running backs like these guys will just absolutely eat up that kind of approach.
As Gentile's going to he's going to keep it himself, and he's going to run up the middle for a touchdown. Great fake by Vinny Gentile. And Mooney extends the lead 34-7 over Boardman with 3:33 remaining in the ball game.
Well, Vince and I spoke earlier this week, and he said he's not afraid to run the ball here and there. And, I've seen him score with his legs in the past, and that was a great play call. Everybody kind of crashed down on the tailback, and why not? Vince isn't really known for running, but being athletic as he is, he can definitely pop one of those off once in a while. And there it is. The crowd, the sea parted right there, and he had a beeline to the end zone. it's kind of going to erase kind of a little bit of I shouldn't say a little bit, kind of a bad night for him in the air. But regardless, helping his team win.
As Gugliotta puts it up and through, it's going to make it 35-7 here. Cardinal Mooney in command here at the Ice Castle. We will take a quick break, and we will be back after this here on YSN. Back here at the Ice Castle, Cardinal Mooney 35, Boardman 7 here as 3:33 remaining in this ball game, and Boardman will get this kick and probably run some more wing T run plays as that is recovered here by number 21, and we're going to step away as we have an injured Spartan. We'll step away here, and we'll be back after this on YSN. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, 35-7 Mooney, 3:32 remaining in the ball game here. As Vinny Buto lines up under center, he's going to give it to Ryan Mitchell. Mitchell's going to not get anywhere. Pretty common theme tonight. Maybe a yard on that one. Bring up second down.
Yeah, Mooney still has its starters in, so definitely respecting Boardman's approach here, and because Boardman's still playing pretty hard, you can't run that offense without running it hard for sure. And so these guys are still coming off the ball, even though there's 33 minutes left in a 35-7 game.
Nathaniel Valentin was the injured Boardman Spartan on that kickoff return who fell on the ball. He did walk off under his own power, so good to see that, standing up on the sidelines there. 2nd and 9. And ball's going to be given. It's going to be a reverse play to Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith's got an opening, but he's hit hard at about the 36-yard line. 2:40 remaining on the clock.
Well, that was Jay Manningham coming in and delivering a pretty good hit, but that was a nice hard run and picking up close to a first down.
Jay Manningham, not the biggest guy out there, but he really laid the wood on the defense there.
Yeah, being called into action as a safety, that's the most important position on any defense, really. They're asked to kind of come up, get into run fits, and then they're asked to cover speedy receivers all the way downfield. So, in my opinion, definitely the hardest position to play on the defensive side of the ball.
So 3rd down and 3, it looks like, coming up for the Spartans. 2 minutes remaining in the ball game. And running up on under center, it's going to be Buto. And, wow, what a play by Letlow. And jumping on it is going to be Ryan Mitchell there. But what Letlow does is he dives and kind of tips the toss play. And basically the ball, it's like a high snap. Ball goes down about 5 yards back. Yeah,
just as I was about to report that Mooney's filtering in some backups here, and the linebackers and the defensive backs here and there, Dom Letlow still in the game. And when you're up 35-7, you can kind of let Dom Letlow be Dom Letlow a little bit. And that time he decided to just, I think, jump over the offensive line and disrupt the mesh point. And luckily it didn't end up with Dom in the end zone.
Kind of reminded me of the play saw in the NFL a week or two ago where there was actually a nose guard trying to dive through the center and intercept the spike. And it kind of reminded me of that. He just dove through before the toss was even made. What a play there by Dom Letlow as Mooney punts the ball. Gabe Hamilton's been he's an asset to the Spartan team, man. He's had a lot of action tonight. That leg's going to be sore tomorrow, but he punts the ball well.
That is a Boardman Spartan football player right there. When you think of Boardman Spartans, you think of these guys throughout history that have been just players that are willing to leave whatever they have to on the field, knowing that whatever team they're throwing out there, you're going to get their effort down to the last second. And that's just been what Boardman football has been all about. You kind of know you're going to get into that before as you prepare that week. And this is no different. They're playing like Boardman Spartans out there. And, hopefully for Coach Doda and his crew that things break positively for them during the stretch run of this season and they can make their way into the playoffs.
So Boardman will fall to 2-4 after this one. And Mooney will end up improving to 4-2 now heading into Week 7 already. Next week, Mooney's going to host Cheney. We'll kind of dig into whoever Boardman's got next week. As Mooney's going to take a knee. Let's check it out here. Boardman's going to have Warren Harding next week. Harding 2-2. So we'll see after tonight, but that is always a battle, Boardman and Harding there.
Oh, yeah, just going all the way back to the days when they've had two of the best teams in the region, the state, and sometimes in the entire country. So, yeah, that'll be one of those games for sure. But for right now, Cardinal Mooney will absolutely hang its hat on this victory, go ring that victory bell tonight, and get ready for what the stretch of their season, which is all the local teams. They have Boardman, Cheney, South Range, and Harding. So it's a very, very personal kind of stretch as they play all the traditional rivals, except for South Range, which they've only met in the playoffs one time, in South Range won that game. So you can bet they've circled that.
And the way South Range is playing this year, that would certainly be an interesting one. But, take it one game at a time, worry about that when we get to it. Coach, real quick, it was the Vinny Gentile show last week. Who's your player of the game for Mooney this week?
It seems like the offense runs on Ike Lake, and Tim Marlowe has told me that he sets up a lot of the plays. So you got to think with him getting going, everything just kind of falls into place. So I'm gonna have to make the easy choice. That's not very controversial, but Ike Lake definitely makes Cardinal Mooney go the way it wants to go.
Ike Lake sets it up. I'm just gonna say the running back by committee for Mooney. We'll give all three of them. Ike Lake made plays. Tyree Dawson, I think, made the first play of the game. Extra effort, 2 plays in a row to score the first touchdown. Tony Beatty closed it out for them, putting them back up 21 here when the game caught a little bit close.
Yeah, definitely the future looks good for the running back room at Cardinal Mooney, but right now it's the Ike Lake show. You have to mention Dom Letlow and Kingston Powell, some guys that have ties to Boardman. They came out here and showed out against probably a lot of their friends or former players that played on Little Spartans or wherever, that they cross paths with. But regardless, this year, Dom Letlow and Kingston Powell and his team can sleep a little easier when reflecting on this rivalry.
So that's going to be a wrap here from the Ice Castle here at Stanbaugh Stadium. Cardinal Mooney, 35, Boardman 7. I'm Matt Romeo with the coach here, Vince Tatey. We'll see you next time here on YSN. Thanks for joining us.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.